Remember when the radio was filled with bangers like Killing in the Name and Losing My Religion? The 90s gave us some of the most iconic bands from Boyzone and Beastie Boys. Reaching out across rock, alternative, and pop, each category gave us true retro gems that shaped an era. They were the ones who brought the fashion of flannel shirts, high-waisted jeans, and trends so iconic that they live in our heads rent-free, like Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. But as time passed, some of these bands faded away, reinvented themselves, or faced heartbreaking tragedies. In this video, we'll take a deep dive into the best of the 10 classic bands from the 90s and uncover what really happened to them. Number 1. Nirvana. A band that catapulted rock culture into the mainstream. Nirvana's groundbreaking album, Nevermind, shook the industry. Songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Breed became anthems of a generation, blending a raw punk aesthetic with pop melodies and themes of social separation. Their sound resonated worldwide, earning them massive popularity. In 1994, their live album MTV Unplugged in New York won Best Alternative Music Performance at the Grammy Awards. With over 75 million records sold globally, Nirvana remains one of the best-selling bands of all time. But deep down, the band was struggling internally due to personal conflicts among its members when Kurt Cobain's death changed everything. Kurt Cobain, an exceptional talent, was struggling with drug addiction and mental health disorders that led him to take his own life in April of 1994 by shooting himself. After his death, Nirvana disbanded, as the remaining members found it too painful to continue without their close friend. If you would like to continue seeing videos like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you don't miss any retro gems we have lined up. Number 2. REM. In the 90s, if you plugged in your earphones, chances were that Losing My Religion was playing on repeat. That was the magic of REM, a band that everyone loved. REM was formed in 1980 by a group of university students from the University of Georgia. They became so successful that they landed one of the most expensive recording contracts of the time, an $80 million deal with Warner Brothers. The band originally consisted of drummer Bill Berry, guitarist Peter Buck, bassist Mike Mills, and lead vocalist Michael Stipe. Their early success came with The One I Love, but true commercial and critical fame arrived with albums like Out of Time and Automatic for the People. Then their drummer Bill Berry resigned after an illness, but REM kept going without him. But for the band, the music industry started feeling more like a machine than a passion. As Peter Buck put it bluntly, it contained everything except writing songs, playing songs, and recording them. It was the money, the politics, having to meet new people 24 hours a day, not being in charge of my own decisions. I hate the business. And by 2011, there were no big fights, no dramatic moments, just a quiet understanding that the band was coming to an end. Number 3. Sonic Youth. Now, when it comes to musical experimentation in the 90s, Sonic Youth undeniably hit the mark. Their albums like Goo, Dirty Boots, and experimental Jet Set, Trash, and No Star cemented their status as legends of 90s rock music.
Experimental. Jet Set.
However, their journey took an unexpected turn in 2011 when band leaders Thurston Moore and Kim Gordon announced their separation after nearly 30 years together. What had once been one of rock's most iconic partnerships came to an end due to personal differences. Their split wasn't just the end of a relationship, it also led to the dissolution of Sonic Youth. Number 4. Savage Garden. Next up is a band that ruled the hearts of millions, none other than Savage Garden. The iconic pop duo Darren Hayes and Daniel Jones took the 90s by storm with unforgettable hits like I Want You, To the Moon, and Back, Truly, Madly, Deeply, and I Knew I Loved You. Their songs were a staple on everyone's playlists. Savage Garden released only 2 albums, Savage Garden and Affirmation, but their impact was massive. The albums were so popular that they sold nearly 23 million copies worldwide. However, their meteoric rise was short-lived. At the peak of their fame in 2001, Savage Garden unexpectedly called it quits, leaving fans heartbroken and wondering, what really happened? Behind the scenes, tensions had been brewing. Daniel Jones told Hayes that he wanted out. Not wanting to stir up controversy, he promised to keep the decision private and agreed to publicly take responsibility for the split. But somehow, the narrative shifted, and suddenly, Hayes was painted as the villain and was left carrying the weight of a decision that wasn't even his. Number 5. Beastie Boys. Another group ruling the 90s music scene, the legendary Beastie Boys. They first gained local success with their early tracks, but their rise was undeniable. Imagine touring with Madonna before even hitting mainstream fame. And when they hit mainstream, their debut album, License to All, skyrocketed to the top of the Billboard charts, making history.
Jazz and A-Wall, that's our team! Step inside the party, disrupt the whole scene!
With their unapologetic punk rap fusion, they gave us anthems like Fight for Your Right and Sabotage, helping bring rap to the mainstream. Selling over 20 million records in the US alone, they became the best-selling rap group of their time. They even earned a spot in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, becoming only the third rap group to do so. But at the height of their success, tragedy struck. In 2009, Beastie Boys member Adam MCA Yauch was diagnosed with cancer, a shocking moment for both the band and their fans. He underwent treatment, and for a while, there was hope. News even surfaced that he had recovered. However, he hadn't, which ultimately led to his death in 2012. The remaining members made a difficult decision that they would no longer continue under the name Beastie Boys. Number 6. Boyzone. Now, if you were near a radio in the 90s, you definitely felt the Boyzone effect. Formed in 1993 by Louis Walsh, Boyzone featuring Keith Duffy, Stephen Gately, Mikey Graham, Ronan Keating, and Shane Lynch dominated the charts. Single hits like Love Me for a Reason, Key to My Life, and Father and Son made them one of the most successful British boy bands, second only to Take That. Their song, All That I Need, even ruled MTV Asia's charts for 6 weeks. In 2000, the group took a hiatus as members pursued solo projects. However, Boyzone reunited in 2007 and continued to enjoy success. In 2009, a tragedy struck with Stephen Gately's sudden passing. Honoring his legacy, the band carried on. In 2018, they embarked on a farewell tour, celebrating 25 years of Boyzone magic, a legacy that still lives in the hearts of 90s pop lovers. Number 7. Screaming Trees. Real retro fans know the grunge vibe of Screaming Trees, a band that pioneered the raw, mind-bending sound that helped define the genre. They started out in the early 80s and were local legends on the streets of Seattle. Their first major album, Uncle Anesthesia, gained them some attention, but it was Sweet Oblivion that really put them on the map. And that's thanks to Nearly Lost You, a song that felt massive. For a moment, it seemed like Screaming Trees were about to blow up. But behind the scenes, the band was struggling to record a new album, internal tensions grew, and frontman Mark Lanegan found himself more drawn to his solo career than the group. And in 2000, they made the tough decision to call it quits. For fans, it felt like an unfinished chapter until 2011, when Last Words, the final recordings released. It was a glimpse into what could have been, a farewell from a band that had always existed on the fringes of grunge greatness. Number 8. The Verve. The next 90s classic band was The Verve. They created something truly special with their music. They started with A Storm in Heaven, but became legends with urban hymns. The album was so big that it became one of the best-selling albums in UK history. Bittersweet Symphony, The Drugs Don't Work, and Lucky Man all were massive hits. But by 1999, internal conflicts tore them apart. But then, in 2007, they pulled off the impossible. The original lineup reunited, went on tour, and even dropped a new album, Fourth, featuring the hit Love Is Noise. Unfortunately, their bond wasn't glued enough. The Verve had fallen into a familiar cycle of reunite, clash, and break apart. In 2009, the band split again because tensions flared, communication broke down, and the trust eroded, which led to their third and final split. Number 9. No Doubt. No doubt, the Grammy-winning band behind Hey Baby and Hella Good had a sound that mixed ska, pop, and rock, making every song feel like an anthem. When Tragic Kingdom dropped in 1995, it changed the game. After Rocksteady and Grammy nominations for Hey Baby, Hella Good, and Underneath It All, the band took a different path. They drifted apart as Gwen Stefani embraced her pop queen era, while the rest of the band pursued their own projects. Years passed, and No Doubt started to feel like just a memory. Then, boom! Coachella 2024 happened, and out of nowhere, No Doubt hit the stage with the vibe of Just a Girl. And suddenly, it felt like the 90s all over again. Number 10. Weezer. And now, saving the best for last. Weezer. Yes, the band that made a whole thing out of naming their albums after colors, starting with the Blue Album. After its success, they followed up with the Green Album, the Red Album, the White Album, the Black Album, and the Teal Album. Honestly, that was such a creative move. But it wasn't just their album names that stood out. Their music did too. Tracks like Undone, The Sweater Song, and Buddy Holly were so catchy they became anthems. And suddenly, geek rock was cool. And if you think they're slowing down, think again. Weezer is set to make a comeback at the When We Were Young festival in Las Vegas in 2025. So yeah, Weezer is not gonna disband soon. The journey of these bands shows us just how unpredictable fame and life can be. Some fell and managed to climb back, while others got lost along the way or found peace elsewhere. And then there are bands like Weezer who never stopped. They kept evolving and remain relevant to this day. Music is timeless. And even if the bands that brought us those timeless musical gems fade away, we have their amazing art forever. What more could we ask?